AITA for faking my giving birth? Note I posted this on a Matthias, but it got deleted for breaking the rules. My fault. I got many messages asking for re-upload and this site seems right. I also didn't get a judgment on the previous post. I'll keep this as short as possible. I 25 pregnant with the baby due in a couple of days. My husband 25 promised that he would be the one to drive me to the hospital, that he will be glued to the phone until birth. He works only 10 minutes from our home. His boss agreed to let him go when the birth happens. The problem is my mother-in-law. My husband her have an unhealthily strong bond. She is overly involved in our relationship, which has caused many issues in the past. She requires his attention every day. She has suggested moving in with us ever since I became pregnant. She also has emergencies whenever we have anniversaries, important occasions like my birthday, etc. As the date is approaching, I became increasingly worried that his mother will have an emergency during birth. I will have trouble getting to the hospital or will be forced to be alone during. I voiced my concerns. It caused fights between them. I even suggested asking my BSF to drive me, keep me company, as I'm scared of giving birth, but it was shot down with, how can't you trust your own husband? So, I'm not proud of it, but I faked giving birth yesterday. I called my hubby at work, told him it started. He said he will be right there. After half an hour, I called him to ask where he was. He didn't answer. After almost an hour, he called me to say he is at the hospital with his mom because, guess what? She is having a medical emergency. Apparently, he called her to tell her I am giving birth. She got a heart attack from excitement. He said he will have to miss my birth, actually asked me to call my friend to drive me, stay with me. I admit, I was very angry, heartbroken, so I told him I wasn't actually giving birth, that it was a test that showed me how he would actually behave vs what he said he would do it, that it proved he would always care for his mother more than for his own wife, who's carrying his child. He was very angry, even blamed me for his mother's heart attack in that moment. His mom, of course, didn't have a heart attack but a false alarm. I felt very justified, but now that we talked, I feel guilty. He said he feels manipulated, gaslighted. That just because his mother lied about the emergency doesn't mean I should lie to him. He said that marriage is built on trust, so I have to trust him instead of lying to him to prove a point. He even said that he didn't choose his mother over me, but chose a bigger emergency that he knew I could handle getting to the hospital, but his mother needed him more, that a heart attack is more serious. I pointed out she lied, but he said he couldn't have known that I was just as bad for lying. I feel like I'm going crazy. AITA? Edit, just because I don't want to be misunderstood, I did what I did because I am terrified to give birth alone. My friend would have to ask for a day off in advance, so she'd have to know that she is needed before I actually get contractions. My mom died in childbirth and I don't want to be alone during the scariest moment of my life. Even if I am TA, I think this gave me the push I needed to get my ducks in a row. My friend already asked for a couple days off to be there when I need it. I'm just so scared. Edit 2, to answer a common question, why did you marry him? Wasn't he putting his mom first from the beginning? I suppose it is a fair question, but it was never that bad. Well, now it is so. His mother was barely a footnote in our relationship because we were at uni far away. I suppose my greatest mistake was agreeing to move into his town vs moving into mine. I come from a town on an opposite side of the country. Our uni was in the middle. So to speak, his mom, while nosy controlling, was far away, very easy to write off. When we got married, we moved into his town for logistic reasons. He already had a job lined up in his town, I didn't. We have been living here for 5 years. It has gotten progressively worse until now. When he isn't in contact with her, he is a good partner, but when you add her into equation, he becomes a different person. Even his friends see it, asked me about it. Right now, I want to focus on my baby, but after birth, I think I will have to rethink our life together. I just can't spend the rest of my life in a triad with his mother also. I'm sorry for mostly not replying to anyone. I'm emotionally exhausted. First comment, you're in a very specific situation. And if people commenting or voting think it's just you and don't recognize that your husband is in the spiderweb of a parent with a personality disorder, then these people criticizing you just don't get it. This stress testing of the pregnancy plan to see if your husband would fail you, and he did, isn't something you took joy in. You weren't hoping he'd fail. This is heartbreaking to find out how much your husband can't see your concerns are valid. You are navigating a toxic circle of people invalidating your concerns and their pattern of behavior. Your mill is sick. She's jealous of you. She has found a childhood wound of yours, and instead of being a sane, normal person, she is choosing to pick at your wound and exploit it. You lost your mom and she is refusing to step up into being a helpful person of support. And that's fine. You can do this birthing plan without her. However, she is so unwell that she is actually trying to remove the support piece of your husband from your birthing plan. And this childbirth act is how your mother died. What kind of person wants to make someone feel alone and unsupported during this scary, potentially triggering experience? It's probably so it will trigger you. That it will make the birth harder and more traumatic on you. And in the middle of all of this, is your husband still seeking his mom's approval that apparently he never could attain while as a child? If he doesn't have her approval or respect by now, then he's never going to gain it by continuing to play her personality disorder games. I can't vote anything negative on you. I'd suggest checking out Just No Mill. Cause these are going to be your peeps that totally know this dynamic from first-hand experience. Second comment, yep, and I agree with the personality disorder question about Mill. Obviously, no one can diagnose her based on this, but I've never heard of a parent who's done anything like this, except in the RBB sub and the CPTSD support group for adults raised by cluster disordered parents. My own mother has done this type of thing. There is nothing normal at all about her behavior and level of manipulation. I'm so sorry it came to this, and while normally I wouldn't endorse it, I think you had no choice and deserve to have this answer so you can plan accordingly. Please tell your OB now. Notify the hospital in advance and the labor and delivery nurses when you arrive that under no circumstances she allowed in or near your room. I can't fully describe how mama bear those LD nurses will be for you. Do not give in to any impulse or pleading demanding that she be at the hospital. Make clear that she's not coming to your home until you decide if and when you're ready, and the first 1-2 WKs are not that time. Do not allow her to trigger PPBD amidst all the rest of this. His opinion doesn't matter. Go to your friend's home if he brings it up even one time. You're going to do amazing and be a mother your husband can't imagine. She is not entitled to even meet baby at this point. Hand him 2 cards, one for a divorce lawyer and one for a therapist. Then let him know if he can't make the decision without talking to mommy. The decision is made. I'm a mom, Mil G May, and my deal 26 is amazing because she makes my son happy, is an incredible mom, and she is his priority. You deserve a bonus mom and a Mil and a real man who puts you first. Don't ever forget that. Third comment, wow. When I read the title I was positive you were the asshole, but after reading it, it's like ... wow. You are NTA. You have so much trauma associated with childbirth. I can't believe your husband abandoned you in the most important moment of your life. I mean, all husbands should be there when their wives are giving birth, but considering your past traumas and fears, he should be especially attentive and loving. He could have called one of his mom's friends to be with her so he could go be with you, but he didn't. He put it on you to call one of your friends. If you'd faked going into labor and he did everything right, then you'd definitely be the asshole. But the fact is that you had a sneaking suspicion he would ditch you again on the biggest, scariest day of your life, and you were right. He's just backpedaling now. He knows he keyed up and wants to put any of the blame he can onto you. Don't let him. He's going to argue cause and effect until he turns blue. Refuse the guilt trip he wants you to take. You gave him a chance to show you who he is, and he did. Bottom line, he's not dependable. I'm glad your friend is planning to be there. You need someone you can count on, and he just proved to you that you can't count on him. Edit, remind me. 1 week.